I was going to say the first slide I put up on our company kickoff this year was a math formula that was essentially, because I'm a mathematician, it was essentially marketing success is dictated by AI adoption times taste squared. And what that means to me is like you have to be good at adopting AI. And I think right now there are opportunities to do that better than your competitors. But at some point, everyone's going to use the same tooling. Everyone's going to have the same prompts. So the idea that taste has an exponential impact on marketing is the thing I'm trying to double down on. And I have zero taste. I'm a mathematician AI guy. So I've had to like rethink about my entire team is people with great taste. And I think we do a really good job of that at my company. So we've really tried to make our strategy be the unscalable taste things that are hard to like put into a Notion doc, but you know it when you see it. And it's hard to measure, but like I'm convinced that that's the thing that's going to drive marketing in the next 5 years.
1, 2, 3, 4. Exit.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Oh, this is so much better, by the way. So I have this fancy camera, and if there's any tech people out there that want to help me out, I do have this fancy camera, and it looks great on our podcast. But when we do these webinars, it's impossible to like see the chat because I got the Elgato prompter, but it's small, and this is such a better setup. So shout out to my IT team for getting me set up today. I'm excited to be here. I see people rolling in. If you can hear me right now, can you just throw a message in the chat so I know that I'm not out here alone? That'd be nice. Nice. Hey Shayla, what's up? Okay, here we go. Loud and clear. Everybody's here. Dave, take a picture of the setup for us and post on LinkedIn. I can't because then you'd see all the embarrassing things that I have like off screen over there. Actually, just a lot of my kids aren't. I do have Mo. Mo's in the house today. Mo's joining me today. We got some people doing some stuff on our house. So there's Mo. Mo, what's up, dude? He's a very good boy, lazy boy, burn a doodle. So super excited. Dan asked, can we switch up the small talk question instead of where are you joining from? Too late. I already said it. So my name is Dave Gerhardt. I am the host here at Exit 5. I'm the founder of Exit 5. Exit 5 is, in my opinion, the top B2B marketing community on planet Earth, as rated in G2's Forrester Wave about the best communities on Earth. No, I'm just kidding. And we do these free live sessions. So we have a community of a couple thousand marketing professionals, but we do these free live sessions twice a month. Don't you dare call them webinars. And they're super fun because what's different than a podcast is like the best part to me is being in the chat and seeing what people are saying. Because you know we're all marketers. It's fun to hang out with each other, share your ideas. And so if you're here, take the time out of your day to actually be here, participate in the chat, share what you're doing, share what's working at your company. The focus of this session today is on B2B buying. And we decided to do something on this session because we've been talking a lot more specifically about the tactics like AI and SEO. We're doing one in a couple weeks on AI and email. It's AI this, AI that. We haven't done a higher level one about strategy, and we wanted to grab 3 marketing leaders at different stage companies to come and hang out and talk about like, what does all this AI stuff mean for B2B marketing? Something that I lay in bed and think about at night. It's like, what is the role of marketing? I can do my research. Hey, we need to buy a CRM for Exit 5 right now. Let's go. We went to ChatGPT. We had ChatGPT do all the research. We collected all the data. We compared this to that. And then we're going to reach out to the company. And that's how we're all buying things in our personal lives today. And so the question is like, what does that mean for the role of marketing? What does it mean for the role of sales? And so we have a great crew of 3 marketers here with us today. I'm going to bring them up in a second. This session will be recorded. We'll take all your questions in the Q&A. That's the best place to do it, not the chat. In the Q&A, maybe we'll get to some of them as we go, and then people upvote them so we can sort the most popular ones. So real quick, I just want to give a shout out to our friends at Walnut. They're the sponsors behind this session today, and I really appreciate it. Walnut makes interactive product demos to help you match how people actually want to buy in real time on your website. Like if I go to somebody's website, I want you to show me the damn product. Show me the product. Walnut makes it easy. They do interactive product demos. They're one of the best companies doing it right now. You can go check them out at walnut.io. Thank you for sponsoring this webinar and being a part of a bunch of things we've done at Exit 5 this year. So, all right, Allison, want to roll my people out here? That'd be really nice. Heck yeah. Lindsay's here. Tom's here. Aditya's here. All right, Lindsay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You, then Tom, then Aditya. Just say hello real quick. Who are you? What do you do for work? Rough stage and size of your company, then we'll get into it.
Sure. Yeah. I'm Lindsay O'Brien. I'm head of marketing and operations at Predictiv. We are a bootstrap B2B company helping marketers activate their revenue through our revenue activation framework. I have a very lean team of 2 full-time employees and a content contractor. So happy to be here.
Mr. Tom, what's up?
Dave, thanks for having me on your webinar. It's great.
You're such a jerk, man. Right away. It's not a webinar. This is a live session. This is like it's like how everybody's doing events now, but they're like, it's like a festival for marketers. That's what this is. This is not a webinar. It's a festival. It's a digital festival for marketers.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great webinar. So I run marketing in a Series B startup called Incident.io. We sell incident management software. When things break, like AWS outage last week, we help companies resolve it. I work at a small company. I came from a much bigger company, a company called Recorded Future. So I've gone through the journey of having to run a huge team to now having to actually do all the marketing, which has been exciting, but also scary. And looking forward to chatting today.
Hey, everybody. Aditya Vempaty here. I run marketing for MoEngage North America. We're about to hit 100 million ARR. We sell customer engagement products to other businesses that engage their audiences. Certain brands like Poshmark, Chick-fil-A, as well as SoundCloud are a few of our customers to tell you how we think and who we target. And Tom, the haircut looks great, man.
That's right. I wasn't lying to you guys.
That was some founder mode stuff. Tom took our prep call from the barber's chair the other day. I wouldn't know what that's like. That'd be like, let me call you from the shower. Okay, so I'm gonna kick this off. I got a bunch of questions. I'm not gonna call on you. I just want you to, like, if you're passionate about it, answer it, and we'll use it as a jumping off point. But what do you think? What's the biggest shift? Like, how are you thinking about your marketing strategy because of what's happening with AI? And I not even tool specific, like, hey, we're using this SEO tool, but like, has anything actually changed in how you think about go to market inside of your company because of AI?
Although I think that for us, it's really, we've moved way past the point of pretending like our competitors don't exist. We really need to be focused on our clear messaging. It needs to be who we are, what we do, who we're for, and who we compete against, because we know that over the years, we've continually lost more and more control over the buyer journey. There's no guarantee that they're coming to our website. So we need to make sure that those AI summaries, that AI research is picking up on who we are and what we do so that we can surface that information. So it's more about the orchestration of all the information rather than being in promotional mindset.
I was gonna say the first slide I put up on our company kickoff this year was a math formula that was essentially, I'm a mathematician, it was essentially marketing success is dictated by AI adoption times taste squared. And what that means to me is, like, you have to be good at adopting AI. And I think right now there are opportunities to do that better than your competitors. But at some point, everyone's gonna use the same tooling. Everyone's gonna have the same prompts. So the idea that taste has an exponential impact on marketing is the thing I'm trying to double down on. And I have zero taste. I'm a mathematician AI guy. So I've had to, like, rethink about, my entire team is people with great taste. And I think we do a really good job of that at my company. So we've really tried to make our strategy be the unscalable taste things that are hard to, like, put into a Notion doc, but you know it when you see it. And it's hard to measure. But, like, I'm convinced that that's the thing that's going to drive marketing in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for us, it's twofold. One, obviously getting people to use AI. That's one half of the equation. So they actually see how these tools work and how it fits into the workflow internally. And this comes down to, like, sales and getting them to use aspects of AI. Like, we use Notebook LLM and we put all our content stuff into Notebook LLM. And we're like, you don't get an Airtable anymore. Here, use an LLM. It has all your content. Look up what you need. Put in the phrases. Don't come asking for us. Yep. All that will be constantly updated, and getting my teams to be like, hey, change your workflows. That's one aspect of the internal side. The external side, we are completely obsessed with distribution. Anything my team does has to start with distribution. Like, we have a blog post. I'm like, don't care. How does it go with distribution? They're like, wait, why? Like, because AI literally only gives a shit about where it shows up and how many places it shows up and who's talking about it. Your authority has gone out the window. So, like, distribution. Everything you do comes down to that. So you want to write a blog post? Who's the partner on it? Who's the practitioner that's going to give you a quote? Or who's going to share it when it goes live? That is all we are obsessed and care about, because that's the only way we think we'll reach our audience. Because everyone, as we said, does research before they even come to you. As Dave, you mentioned, you did all your research and you're like, cool, I'm ready to go. Yeah, you've done all the work without even talking to me. So
I'm not going to sit through your process. because that's how it has to be. No disrespect. I'm not going to waste an hour of my time talking to some 22-year-old BDR because that is the process that it has to be. And I was 22 once. I'm not discriminating. I'm just saying like we got better things to do than sit through that demo. Maria in the chat said, love CMOs who are okay to do unmeasurable things. And it's like, it's so crazy to say that out loud because I think the longer you've been around marketing, you understand that these are the things that matter. How do people actually buy? Is it because they went through some perfect funnel? They saw all your ads, they converted in all the ways? Or is it because a lot of times like, well, the product's really good. And then the CMO knew the CMO of the other company and she told them that it was really good. And then like when they went to the event and they had this really cool, like it's all these steps. And so I love this idea of like, this phrase that Tom had, the unmeasurable, the unscalable things. But it's also it's this weird juxtaposition because like you're all using AI a lot in the actual like workflow of your business, but then from a marketing standpoint, you're trying to think of these unscalable, harder to measure, harder to quantify things. It's like it's this balance of both. I feel it in our business right now. We're doing this event in March, and we're literally finding 100 addresses by hand, handwriting 100 envelopes, hand selecting 100 people to invite. And it's like this is taking a lot of time, but it's almost like that is the opportunity today is to find more things like that in the business, right?
Yeah, do you want specific examples? I heard your audience likes numbers and specifics.
Yeah, no, they love when people just come in here and just use B2B marketing like platitudes.
So earlier this week, we just went live with an $80,000 billboard that you see coming into San Francisco on the, I guess it's the 101.
Yeah.
And it's a big old bright orange. We call it the Alarm-Relayed color. And after this thing is done in 4 weeks, I'm not going to have any way to measure it. Like I'll know some anecdotes, I'll have some data points, but like, can I go to my CFO and say, for this $80,000 billboard, we got 1.3 million in pipeline out of it? No. And I don't care. Because I know like my audience lives in San Francisco. They're commuting into their office every day. They're going to see it. I'm 100% convinced of that.
So along those lines, we did something earlier this year. We launched a book called the Customer Engagement Book, Adapt or Die. And we could not measure it in the sense of we printed it out. We had, I think, we spent probably 80, 90K making this book. And each book to print, the first edition was like $40. We got the cost down like $10, $11. And it was like a 120-page book. I think I have it right here. Yeah, there we go. And it has like 13 different authors. And this goes back to like how Tom was talking about taste. But the big part of this was we've had over 2,800 people download it. And we've shipped out 800 physical copies to people. And like, they're like, where's the pipeline? What's going on? I'm like, listen, give me time and this will show up. And that's where back to Tom's point, it may not be unmeasurable. It'll be unmeasurable in upfront, but now we can attribute over 5 million in pipe to this thing. And like about 4.8 actually, to be specific, but from enterprises, medium to small businesses across the board. And so, but to do that, we had to get the buy-in to do the unmeasurable thing so we could actually measure later. I think you can do the measuring, but it just shows up on the scoreboard at a later point because how people buy, as Tom was saying, now Dave was saying, Lindsay saying, has shifted completely. And they're not going to follow your pretty little funnel that you want them to. They'll do their own thing, but it'll show up on the scoreboard, I believe, just not in the way that people are traditionally used to measure.
Yeah. I think revenue is obviously the big one that everyone wants whenever you're going to measure. Time efficiency is another one because that equates to revenue as well. But I think one that people don't measure enough, and because it's difficult, is team morale. Does that new workflow or does that tool make your team happier? Are they doing more of the things that excite them and bring them joy? Are they more passionate about their role? Because that's a big one that they're likely going to be there longer then. You're going to have a team that wants to stick around. So it's not just about the time savings and the revenue.
Okay, so I'm just trying to take notes and organize my thoughts around this because we came out of the gate hot. We want to focus on like what's changing in B2B buying. I'm hearing that a common theme is this unscalable stuff, but I want to, and I'm taking notes, so we'll get back there, but I want to take a detour back to something, a part that kind of connects all of these things right now is this like idea of patience. Like how do you stand up? Maybe this is easier for some of you who have more experience and have more wins under your belt and are proven, but can any marketing leader or any marketer on this webinar, damn it, live session, can any marketer on this session today, go back to their team and say, hey, I want to think about measuring this in a different way. I want to have more patience. I want you to trust me a little bit more. Like, do you have to earn that trust, or how is there a way you can stand up in front of the company and say, hey, here's how people buy, and so here's what our marketing playbook needs to be? Because Brendan Hufford, I love, he calls this checkbox marketing. He's like, so many companies just do this checkbox marketing. And so how do you break from that? Because it does take courage to say like, hey, we're not going to measure that this way. We're not saying we're not going to measure it, but we're not going to do it this way. We're going to try this thing. We need to do things like a billboard, write a book, do unscalable things. How do you go get that buy-in? How would you, and I want you to talk to the people who are listening to this right now being like, okay, I hear you all, but like, you're all proven people, whatever. It's easy for you to walk in the room and go get those things done. Help us walk somebody through that in the company.
I'd go into this because I deal with this a lot, like how the company's set up. We have most of our exec team in India, and then North America is our fastest growing region. And so like, they're not so familiar with the region. So whenever I put ideas out there or the team puts ideas, there's always like, wait, will this work? We don't know, et cetera. It hasn't worked here. And before you do any campaign, it doesn't matter what level or, you have experience or not, be obsessed with your customer and their problems. Before like literally I launch any big campaign or my team does, they'll come to an idea. It's like one, distribution, right? And the second part is like, how do we de-risk it? And I asked them like, have you talked to any prospects or customers? And so like over the year, we started building a base of like 15 people I can text that are either people who are not our customers, but are friendlies, but are in a different platform. And ask them like, what do you think about this? Does this resonate with you? Does this align with what you're thinking? Would this get you to take a meeting, a demo, or tell someone else to attend?
Yes.
And like,
I love this shit. I think about this all the time. I go to somebody's website and I'm like, would anybody at this company actually do this? Contact sales now. It's like, why would I do this? I'm not going to do this. Do we think of that? And I beat myself up over that all the time. If I rush to send out an email and then I see it in my inbox, I'm like, damn, like I just sent that email to, 23,000 people. And like, I probably wouldn't have opened that email. Like I think that is a common trait among people that are good at marketing. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what stage, whatever. It's like, how do you think like that?
Yeah. And that's to come down, like your customers will tell you, whether they're customers or not, your audience will tell you if that's a foolish idea. And you have to talk to multiples, obviously. Don't just talk to one and, N of one, but go after them. And like, at least I've learned to de-risk that way. And it saved me and be like, look, I talked to this many people. Here's the names, the companies, the titles is what they said. Here's the recordings. With AI, it's more beautiful than easier than ever to record stuff, put it up there, summarize, and say, here you go. And that's won me a lot of like, I wouldn't say arguments, but like, there's no debate if the customer is telling you, audience is telling you this is what I care about, right?
Yep.
So
I don't think it has to everything doesn't have to be this big bet. You can start out small and build up incrementally. But I would say moving from the tactical, writing your email with AI to actually using it as a strategic counterpart, someone that is challenging you, because if you let it, AI continues to just be your cheerleader, and that can be really annoying. So let's get it to a place where it's pressure testing the things that you're giving it. And then for something more future focused is doing AI impact assessments. So okay, maybe that's what your customer is feeling now in their role, but we all know that AI has exponentially changed the way that we think about our role and the things that we're focused on. What does your customer's role look like in the next 12 to 18 months? What are they focused on? What does their role look like? Does your solution still serve them? If not, then it's not just about a messaging change, it's about an entire product roadmap change. So there's a right what to do right now versus what to look for in the future.
Tom, what are you going to say? Build on that.
No, I was just going to say, there's a few things. There are a lot of questions about how do you do things that aren't measurable. If you all work at a company where marketing isn't strategic enough to make big bets, you're at the wrong company. Sorry, not sorry on that one. And then second, if you're also at a company that doesn't have a really good AI product roadmap, it's going to be hard to compete. Like the reality, like I live in a world where engineers are dealing with these outages. We have vibe coders churning out more code than ever. You need software like ours to be able to react. You need AI to fight AI is sort of how we talk about it. But like, I think for me, the two non-negotiables are the company needs to be AI at the core or they're going to be irrelevant in the next 5 years. And the CEO has to be willing to do the kinds of things that break through the noise. Like if we just think about all the AI slop that's getting churned out by every company right now,
yeah,
you're just it's gonna be a sort of regression to the mean if we all just do the same tactics on the same channels. Like I just spent a $22,000 as of this morning on a month on an influencer campaign. So we will be working with an agency who will help us find influencers who talk to developers and engineers. These engineers will churn out a bunch of content across a bunch of channels. That feels like a way to break through the AI generated slop. Like, what are the places you can go that are going to let you stand out, which has never been more difficult than it is right now, because everyone has N8N and Zapier and Clay, and we all do the same emails. We all send the same templates. It's all the same. None of that shit's going to break through anymore.
Totally. It's like the same thing over. I think if you just cover up AI and you called it like MarTech or whatever, it's just we're all using this. It's the same thing. Oh, I would find out what Tom's using. And it's like, oh, he's using Optimizely for this thing. Okay, he's using, whatever. That was so I wrote that down because I want to recap these, and I love this. This is a more strategic discussion, which we wanted to have. But Tom said basically, this is my take. You can, get this for social media or whatever. How to do good marketing in 2026. It's number one, you have to be AI to the core. Like your company has to be AI native, the marketing team, whatever. And then number two is the CEO has to be willing to do things that break through the noise. I love that as a benchmark, because let's just go look at what everyone's doing in our industry and let's find different ways to do it as opposed to just running the same place everybody else does. I like that. I have a question about the marketing funnel. Does that still come up? Like, do you all think in terms of funnel anymore as marketers? It used to be, when I learned it, I think I was at Constant Contact, and it was like the funnel was like awareness, interest, desire, action, and then like there was teams across the company dedicated to each parts of the funnel. There's an ad team, there's a conversion team, there's a life cycle team. Do you all think of that inside of your companies? Like, do you sit down with your team and you draw out like the customer journey or the funnel, or has all that gone away? Does any of that still matter? I'm curious how you're thinking about like awareness that,
I got to jump into this because I just had this entire review with my team and everyone else. And I think this goes back to also what you're saying, Dave, is I think there's a funnel, but there isn't. And I think like people have to start thinking about, how do you buy products? How are you going through the funnel yourself? And how does your audience go through it? And it's not a funnel, but just the journey in how you go about like discovering, engaging, learning. And so with my team, I'm much more like, forget the funnel, just like think of where they're on their journey. Are they like already ready to make a purchase, or they're just starting, or they're like learning? And like, I've had to shift the thinking to be like, what do we make assets where like, if they're just starting, that we show up, versus if they're already like ready to make a decision, what does that look like? And back to what Tom was saying, like with influencers, like is influencers like in the middle of the pack, or is it at the top of the pack, or is it even at the bottom of the pack and we don't know? And so some of these like channels I think are like pretty saturated, so the funnel no longer applies, but the journeys through these channels, I think you have to start understanding how it's being utilized or not. Lindsay, and so that's how we shifted our thinking.
Like I said, I have a lean team. And we oversee everything from brand and demand to enablement and retention. And then I also have RevOps under my purview as well. So those stages are really helpful when you're communicating internally, because most people know about them and understand them. As far as running campaigns, we don't really look at those stages that we just talked about, but more of the engagement. Like we use AI to really figure out what the scoring model looks like, so that we can have that better sales and marketing handoff and understand what a quality lead looks like, and if it converts to a quality deal. So it's not so much focusing on those stages so much as it is making sure we've all got alignment internally on what engagement points check the box to hand that over to sales and let them do their thing.
There's a bunch of really good stuff in the chat on this. Kirk said the funnel is a planning tool, and I think I really like it as that, because I think you need it as a guardrail. Like, you still have to figure out which marketing place to run, and so it's like, oh, maybe literally just not enough people in our market know that we exist. Like, hey, we have, Tom's case is like, we have the product rocks. It's just early. Not enough people know about us. Like, oh yeah, we're going to go spend money on billboards because like we straight up need to tell more people we exist. Okay, cool. Versus like, hey, we have a ton of interest. We have a ton of inbound demand. Like, meetings are full. We're just like struggling to close deals right now. Okay, that's a conversion issue. Maybe the funnel is, I really like that. And then Alexander says in the chat, forces of progress, still one of my favorite ways of evaluating where a prospect is in their journey. So still like the funnel. Okay, Here's what I want to go next. Tell me something that was a staple of your playbook, Tom. I'll start with you. What was a staple of Tom Wentworth's like marketing playbook? Maybe 10 years ago that like is not a thing. Is not a thing.
Yeah, I used to work at a company called Optimizely that pioneered the idea of website optimization. We're going to run n number of experiments and find the best shade of blue that's going to give our landing page the best conversion. Was the dumbest thing, like the dumbest thing. I had somebody, I think even last week we talked about this in my offsite.
Did you say you worked at Optimizely?
Yeah.
You did?
I was CMO. Well, the company that bought Optimizely, it's a long story. The company that bought the company that became Optimizely.
At Aquia?
This company called Episerver, which is Ectron, which bought Optimizely and took their name and rebranded.
Oh, I didn't know.
Prior to Aquia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So my LinkedIn says Optimizely. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's close enough.
All right.
It's a link.
I didn't know you were just a fanboy. Sorry. Okay.
But big user of website testing.
Sure.
It's of zero consequence to me. Haven't thought about it in 10 years.
So you don't do any website testing?
No.
Is that true for both of you?
Not A/B testing, not trying to figure out if putting the word buy now versus contact us.
Yeah.
If the button should be blue or orange, it doesn't matter.
Is that because AI can do it, or it literally doesn't matter? The lift is
Because
never
people are the percent gains that you get. First of all, most people don't understand the concept of statistical significance. So they run this test. It takes them 6 months to get any learning. So they run it. They put it live after 2 weeks, and it just had no statistical validation.
Is this only in B2B? Like if you and I owned like a consumer beverage brand, I'm assuming we'd
be probably more likely, because in order to get learnings, you have to have conversions, and none of us B2B marketers have enough conversions to get any sort of real meaningful learning at scale. Okay. I get like 20 demo requests a day. You're not going to learn anything
by changing the button.
The button color,
or even the language. We definitely don't A/B test our home.
Good,
pages.
hallelujah! Smart people on this webinar.
I don't have an opinion on that. We always couldn't do enough of it for some reason. It was like we need 100 variations of the homepage to see which one is the winner. Meanwhile, someone like just DMs you and you're like, "Yo, man, so your CEO is awesome. Like, can I get a demo?"
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, that's a good one. Anything? What else? Come on, you three.
I agree with that one. I think gating everything is definitely, there was a time when it was a collect information at all costs, and now we're in a very much give information as freely as possible so that we can educate the buyer as much as possible in our favor in most cases. But also, I think now that it's very easy to compare and do that AI research, it's important to make it as accurate as possible. And because it's going to be easy to compare across the board. So I'd say trying not to gate as much content as possible unless you absolutely have to. Pricing too, that needs to go out the window.
Like not having that available.
Can we talk about gating content for a second? It's the fucking dumbest thing. I hate to swear this way. It is the dumbest thing. Like it's a throwback to like, I need to show the VP of sales I hit my lead commit target this month. So let me put a form in front of my nonsense content. If anyone on this call, I'm looking at you right now. If any of you are gating content, I'm blocking you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I gate everything. We run a different business though. But
hold on, does gating content on LinkedIn count if you say comment to get asset? Is that gating?
I have the opposite. Let me put this on the record. I have what a privileged life you have, all of you. If the biggest problem in your fucking life is that people want you to comment on their LinkedIn post to get a piece of content. Some of these posts I see out there, these people should go to jail. I'm like, who cares? Don't comment on it. Like, ignore it. Move on. Gosh, let's get you some bigger problems. It's like
when I see your ex-colleague. Your ex-colleague Adam from Drift, Adam, the Sift Rock guy.
Yeah.
He made a post about it and about how he hates it. And someone from LinkedIn, like a VP at LinkedIn, commented and said, "We agree. This is a bad experience." It was a whole thing yesterday.
Well, let's talk about LinkedIn. But while we have this audience, the other place that LinkedIn has fumbled the bag, I'd like to give a shout out to Eric from Hatch, who coined this phrase for me. Fumbled the bag. You have to. So we've been running tests, and other people have some similar data. But with video on LinkedIn, despite the fact that everyone looks at social media videos, what did they tell you about social media videos? Vertical video, vertical video, vertical video. That's what TikTok is. That's what Reels is, YouTube Shorts, right? LinkedIn, no clue what they're doing. The best converting video, the best engaged videos on LinkedIn are actually horizontal videos. Because have you seen the experience? Like if I post it just is like my face, like in your screen with no context of a caption or anything. And so this is like a reverse growth hack. It's like because they got the feature wrong, like the videos that work better right now on LinkedIn are horizontal videos. It's amazing. Gating content. I think the issue, look, so obviously the side tangent about the LinkedIn stuff. The issue to me is not gating content. It is like thinking that gated content should then get a phone call from your sales team and some good outcome is going to happen for that, right? And so like, I do think it's a totally fine mechanism for like content delivery and getting people to hand raise things and maybe get interest on a topic. I like it at that, but yeah, I remember my first real marketing job. I did marketing for a year before I had a sales counterpart, and they brought in a VP of sales. This guy, 20 years more experience than me. You know, I'm just a kid in my 20s, like running marketing for the first time. He's like, why don't you come in here and draw me the funnel on the whiteboard? I draw him out the funnel and I'm bragging about all these metrics. And we got 20,000, you know, this many visitors, this many contacts. He's like, how many sales qualified leads are there, buddy? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm like, we have a really big email list. He's like, yeah. He's like, these, what you have here, these are not leads. These are called contacts. And that was the very first like slap in the face that I got from a sales leader.
I think to echo that part, one of the things that we were doing in the past, and I think that we've stopped altogether now, is back to like, oh, someone fills out a form, hey, go contact them. Sales, like we stopped that. Sales doesn't get any leads or anything except for like, until they literally have filled out a demo form. Like that's the only point in which we hand something to sales. But that's a practice. Like in the past, you'd be like, hey, they filled out this, go talk to them. Oh, they've done this many actions. These are lead score says it's ready to follow up with. And all the debates you go back and forth and countless hours, dear God, that you'd spend on stupid shit of, that's a lead. Why don't you follow up with it? It's not a lead. It's a contact.
We just used AI last quarter to completely revisit our scoring model for both contacts and accounts. And we set up a similar thing, is that until a contact reaches a certain engagement score, they're not even assigned.
Yeah.
What else? What should I be asking you right now? I have a bunch of questions, but I'll take a drink of my water. Like I'll let you free form. What should we talk about?
I think I'd love to know how you guys are. Go for it, Tom.
I'll say, is AI resulting in smaller marketing teams?
For sure.
Yes.
There was actually a Procter & Gamble study earlier this year. Did you see it? It's in April, I believe. And they compared human-only teams to people using AI. And what they found was that one person using AI performed as well as human-only teams, but two people using AI outperformed everyone. So I think it was a solid study. It's great. I think that's just proof that it's here to stay and that people are going to be more generalist and that they can be empowered to do more despite what their job title is.
I've seen this just directionally as a thought leader, somebody who makes a living hosting a podcast, interviewing CMOs. Maybe you heard of it. It seems like a lot of people are team size is shrinking, or maybe it's not shrinking, but it's not growing at the rate that it used to. Everyone is under intense pressure. Like to get to ask for one headcount right now is like, you better go to the CEO and board and explain like why you can't do this with technology. And by the way, I'm not sure that that's entirely fair. I think there's a lot of, I believe in AI, but I also think there's a lot of like, we can't really do all the things we think it can. It's not literally running the entire business for you, despite what some people might say. There's a lot of half-baked stuff, or like you could vibe code something and then actually it just gets to halfway and then you just spent a week doing it and now it's still not done and it doesn't work. And so I think you still do need people, but I'm going to share. I've never shared this perspective, I don't think, on any of our webinars. So I think one of the things for me in my career in marketing, I hit a ceiling once I got to become like a team manager, and I was the VP of marketing and we had 30 people. I came up because I was a good marketer, and then you get thrust into managing people, and then you become the head of marketing, and that's the progression. And they basically brought in like a professional CMO over me because that was what you needed. You needed the CMO who has, managed a team of 1 million people at Salesforce and has seen that. And I think what's very exciting about what's happening now is like, I think the trend is not just smaller team sizes, but I think it matters that the CMO is actually good at marketing now more than ever. And the CMO is not just the people manager. Tom, like, I know that's why you're still doing what you're doing and like you want to be a CMO. It's because you actually enjoy the brand building, the storytelling, the company building, the marketing. I think that unless you're at maybe those top Fortune 100 companies or whatever, like the CMO job is less about becoming like a professional, like people manager now, which is super exciting, at least for me with my confirmation bias of liking the marketing. And so I think the secret is like CMO team of, 5 to 15 marketers or whatever, and then lots of AI and agency. Like that's the direction. Then I know a bunch of founders who are starting new companies, founders who like had companies in the last wave of SaaS and then are starting new companies now. And they're basically like, oh, I would never have a big marketing team ever again. And that's the founder saying that right out of the gate. So
No, I'd love to ask the folks on the call, anyone, and they're like, how much AI are you guys actually using on your teams and what tools? Because like, I very honestly, this is gonna like maybe piss people off, but like I have bought one AI product in the last 12 months.
what is it? Name it.
Zuddle.
Zuddle's an AI product.
And it was because they sold me so well on how it fits into my workflow.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing. I've like
Right.
looked at many, but everything comes out to my favorite AI chat buddy, which is either Gemini or ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. I have not bought AI tools. Like nothing has like made me say I want to jump into this, because oftentimes I'm like, wait, this is making my world even harder. Yes, it might give me more outputs, but I'd love to know how much you guys are doing. And
Put it in the chat. Put it in. Everybody's doing it right. Put it in the chat. How much AI would you say you're using?
Yeah, for us, it's a lot at my company. One really tangible example, we do a ton of agentic stuff off of Gong call transcripts. So
Yeah.
every time a Gong call transcript every time a Gong call happens, about 10 agents fire. Like, for example, our sales reps have to use MedPick when they're filling out details on an opportunity, all the MedPick stuff. We have an agent that just reads that call transcript, pulls out all the 8 pieces of MedPick and dumps it into Salesforce. So multiply that times 20 sellers times 10 minutes of work. Every discovery call, we're saving them tens of hours a week by doing that. Every time there's a mention of a competitor, it summarizes the learnings of that competitor, dumps it to a database that we use to update a battle card every few weeks or so. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Call transcripts are the like gold mine of stuff, and AI makes call transcripts actionable. We used to talk about listening to a couple of Gong calls a week, but like AI can listen to every single one and pull out insights on every single one.
Right.
And then you can make them do things like update Salesforce, update the battle card, send the Slack notification to the person.
did you have to buy new tools, or did you take what you had and just plug it in?
Clay and Zapier, man. Clay and Zapier are the two. I love Clay and I love Zapier.
Never heard of
Got
either.
it. So those we have implemented also as well. I'm just wondering, like, is there any other tools also?
We keep it very much to the general use tools. One, they're more cost effective, and two, they're just more versatile. So we have ChatGPT, Claude, Notebook LM, because to your point, Tom, those notebooks and those call transcripts, AI can store all of those. If we need to, call out something that someone said to us recently about something that went really well with their campaign, we can just ask it a question. It gives us a verbatim quote of something that was said and a note to where the call transcript can be found. So that's been a huge help. It also helped with our mixed method surveys, where we paired up survey data with actual interviews with marketers, and it surfaced again verbatim quotes, which was so important to us because we didn't want to misrepresent anyone. So those 3, and then the only kind of niche tool we have is Riverside for videos. So I like to keep it nice and simple, get as much out of those tools as humanly possible. And then, if there's a really great use case that you need to double down on and there's a great tool out there, go ahead and invest.
I also will give a shout out to Exit 5 sponsor, at least at some point qualified. I think I was super skeptical of the AI BDR idea, but we've been using this qualified thing to do inbound follow-up. Like we go to a big event, we met 800 people, only 40 of them really want to talk to us. I think 10 years ago, we would have sent an email, nurture stream out of HubSpot and said, thank you for coming to the booth, and we'd send them a bunch of resources. We're now doing all of that sort of follow-up in this qualified, and the emails it writes are shockingly good. Like good enough where I'm proud of them. We give it some context. So it's not just writing emails just off of random stuff.
You're proud of them, like you're proud of the AI SDR. You're like, I'm so proud of you.
I look at it, I'm not embarrassed by it. I don't look at it and say this is AI slop.
I know.
It's awful. It's
I know.
gotten shockingly good.
Look, one of the hardest things in for me in marketing was been like, I've always been the email guy. Like, oh, give it to Dave. He'll write the email. Dave writes the email. Like, I'm not good at many things in life, but like writing emails is one of them. And it's been an impossible task to like try to scale that and train someone on it. And it always ends up just being like, I'll write it anyway. But stuff like this makes a ton of sense. And I'm glad to hear it's working because everybody else is telling me nothing's working. Outbound is not working. It's dead. It's whatever. And so, what do you think makes the AI outbound work though, Tom? Is it like they do better research? Like how does it?
So a good question. It's the context. It's the research, right? So I feed this Piper qualified thing, a summary of the person's LinkedIn profile, a summary of the company. I give it all the contextual stuff about Incident IO. So it's able to take, and I give it all the context of what they were doing on our site. It takes all those things. It can munge them all together and come up with something really good. So I have a clay process that does all the research. The clay process feeds it to qualified, and qualified does all the writing of the emails.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with the context aspect. The context is what makes AI really powerful. And then the prompt is what gets it really precise. So whether you're using those agentic flows or you're using just a GPT that you've created, we have a really solid knowledge base that we created that covers everything from brand voice to positioning and messaging, competitors, personas, existing content. And anytime we need to give AI context, we just download that as a PDF and upload it. So it's absolutely tool agnostic and it gives so much rich context.
Let me give you an idea. Oh, go ahead. Aditya, go.
I got booted off from my answer clearly earlier, but no, now I'm back. And I think for us, like exactly for my answers, we've done that. And this goes back to what Tom was saying, I think, and maybe Dave too, with the same isms. We've done that. We've given a brand and given this, and then like instantly we can tell the SDRs are the ones who are like creative versus the ones who are like mid, as all the kids say. And like you can just tell the quality. And so like teaching that actually is where AI is coming in and be like, hey, these emails aren't working. This is how like an email looks when you use AI, use context, and actually like, think outside the box. And that's actually where the learnings have gotten really faster. And be like, well, this is what good looks like, and this is what goes into good, and like explain to someone who's not there what are the parts that went in, so they can almost like visually see like this is where you missed, this is where it happened, this is how the anatomy of a good email looks like that's outbounding, what context is there, how is it relevant to the user. And it helped them build taste. It takes time, but it has helped people build taste that wasn't there before, but it definitely takes time.
I look at it like AI can, for email specifically, AI can generate emails as good as maybe 60% or 80% of humans. But the benefits of it's reliable, it's fast, it's always working. I can get an email out minutes after a conference ends versus the BDR was on vacation that day. Like there's so many benefits to it that like I'm all in on it.
All right. I like it. My least favorite, everybody's like, soon we're going to have the AI, we'll have an org chart for AI agents inside the company. And I'm like, no, what does that mean? They're going to give them benefits. You can do, we're like, we'll do performance reviews for our AI. And it's like, no, it's just called like reviewing if the product works and you like it. Like what? Anyway, there's always going to be something. Dana is in my ear saying like, we need to just do this as like a regular radio show. Cause I want to go into 15 different directions. There's so many, like, I want to ask you personal questions. Lindsay and I were talking about yoga in my impending hip surgery in New York. Tom's got work. I want to ask him about whatever he's on right now or whatever he's been taking, because he's doing it. I'm happy for you, man. It's good.
I'm jacked. Let's go.
Yeah. I think one of the cool ways we've used, I didn't get the chance to talk about some of the ways we're using AI, but like a little example is like we have these ads that we're running for our newsletter, and in the ads it's like a picture from our event of me at the whiteboard, and it's for the ad. The ad copy is about AI and SEO. And Jess just took that image and she put it in like Nano Banana or whatever and updated it. And now in the back of the image, there's a TV and the TV screen was blank. And now there's like a chart on it going up. And then on the whiteboard, it has like 5 things about AI and SEO and it looks super legit. It's like, think about in the past, we would have had to like run that, to have that idea, give it to a designer. They got to go make it together in Photoshop, but like they already have 15 other things to do. Like in seriously 4 minutes, she made an amazing piece of ad creative. And I love things like that. And it doesn't have to be, for people listening, like you don't have to do the like super in-depth, like we're going to revamp the whole marketing org. I just like this mindset of like, what small ways could we be using AI? Could we be chipping away at some of our workflows, whether it's ad creative, whether it's, something you're doing for this mailer campaign? How much time is that left?
Double checking on that, right? That's the part I think if you look at like AI and the buying journey and internal and both external, one of the biggest things, like starting small actually helps, as Lindsay was saying, right? Like one of the things, there are people who are like smart, but they're afraid of AI because they don't want to give up the control. And they were raised in the past of like, controls everything. Everyone's have checks and balances. Let's get stuff out. But we need, as Dave, you're saying, 5-6 checks before it goes out, and then marketing goes to hell because Frankenstein shows up. But that's where like,
who wants control?
Oh, everyone that's not in marketing.
Oh, okay. They want to see everything before it goes out.
Yeah. Right. And so like part of the job now is like we start small and we just ship things and they're like, oh, wow, this volume of things that's great is good. And then we're noticing people back off. They don't want control. They're like, cool, you guys are good. Okay, you're using AI, you're good. But we also
like, is that a good thing? It's like, oh, cool, you're using a machine gun. Where you go? Oh, good. All right, yeah, you're good. You'll get the job.
Like, yeah, that's the sad part is people think volume equals good equals AI. When I think
that's so insane. Oh, you used AI to do it? Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. Don't worry. Oh, Tom, AI wrote the billboard copy? Oh, great. Must be, it's great.
No, but that's exactly what's happening. And if you're like, oh, wait, we want to do fewer things better, they're like, no, that's not what AI is good for. Like, it's like we're seeing this dichotomy. We're like, okay, all right, how do we just appease the gods internally to get them off so we can actually do good work? We definitely fall into that of like, I appease you, now I'm going to go do good work, which isn't 50 billboards or 50 copies. It's like 5 or 10 that hit the mark and we review and get to the good spot.
But like, look, I'm trying to like, I'm joking about the AI stuff, but I love to, it helps me whittle down ideas much faster. And so I'm like, the other night I'm working on this, like, I want to write this tagline. Here's how I want it to say, like, help me come up with 15 versions of it. And I can get through the shitty ones faster. And then I can like spend more time on the one or two ideas. Do you have any opinions on like AI video? First of all, have you played with Sora too on your own?
Not to the level of Davidson.
Because my wife, Leah's having an intervention with me. She's like, and my kids have become obsessed with it. And like, it's also kind of scary. And I'm trying to teach them that like, it's fake. But I just, I made a video of myself. I just been making the most ridiculous like AI videos. And it's very addictive. But in a work context, do you see them working? Like, would you have AI generated like avatars for your company, for your sales reps, for your CEO? Have you thought about that?
We're playing around with this right now for cold outreach so that, working on those really solid subject lines that'll get it open. And then once it is open, playing around with how we can create video that cuts through all of that noise that we were talking about earlier. So would
you use AI avatar? Would you use AI avatar people in your marketing?
Personally, no.
Lindsay, no. Aditya?
No.
I have tried it. And for some of our customer win announcements the last 2 weeks, I was tempted. I got it out and I was like, no, I'm putting it back down. It was just a little too cringe. It was like,
sorry?
Yes or no? Would you AI?
No, God, no. Like, this is where designers, like,
that's 3 no's.
If you're coming out of college right now, I think the most AI-proof job is a great designer who's creative. We're so far away from Sora and Nano Banana and all the image generation models being able to do work that stands out. So we have an unusually sized design team at my current company, like 5 or 6 designers for a company of roughly 100 people. And it's honestly one of the reasons we've been able to build a great brand while everyone else is out there doing templatized nonsense. We put care into everything we do. Like our billboard, we obsessed over it. Every pixel, every word, every effect we put on the treatment of the billboard. Yeah, I would, if I were doing it over again, I want to be marketing, I would go into design, except I'm not creative.
Do you think we all just have this like reaction to that because we know it's not real? Like it
I
should,
don't,
it
I
should
think
be a
it's,
real
I think
person.
of all the things that AI can't do a good convincing job of, I think text is way further along than images. Like I don't think great brands are not going to be built off of Nano Banana. There's
And
no
also,
way.
there are also options where you can create a whole podcast with avatars.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to that. I don't. Why do I care that they're regurgitating?
That would just be like
already exists. They're not even thinking up new things.
like the Forbes Council version of writing for your CEO.
100%.
Hey, check out my guy.
Sun's out, just knock out some dips. The kids are over by the swings. Get the shoulders.
Yeah.
You see,
It's the end. It's the end. He goes, you see me? I sent it to my mom. I said, is this me or AI? And she goes, I know that's not you. I know that's not you. That's not your smile. It's one of those weird AI smiles.
We just did we launched a product recently, and we went out and filmed a TV commercial with real actors. Like what people are doing these days, they're doing B-roll with Sora, and they're having script writing, but like we wouldn't hire real actors. We paid them. We had to have catering for them. We filmed it for a full day. We had set design. We had all this stuff, and it was expensive. But our launch video was 10x better than what we would have done had it been Sora and a bunch of text.
So I think one of the things we're all hitting on here is the lack of trust is gone. If you go too hard into AI, and what Tom, you're saying, like better equivalent is trusting somebody and trusting them. If it's AI, clearly like there's a level of mistrust with that if that's all you're using and leveraging, right? That's why you hired actors, put a set together and went that route. Like that's something we also like, I care deeply. I'm like, to have trust, it's got to look authentic and it's got to look like I can relate to you. And so Sora's fun to post on LinkedIn and stuff, but I'm like, would they really take me seriously if I put a Sora of myself promoting this brand? Like you can tell that is not me.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of like
like
Cameo. Do you remember like when Cameo was more of a newer thing? It was like a super niche and creative play to like if I'm out trying to outbound a Lindsay, and I find like Kevin from The Office, and I know she likes The Office, and I send her a funny video, like that worked. But now it's like it's been democratized. Anybody can do that. I think the novelty. I also think there's some really good stuff on Sora. If you can, like anything, if you can prompt it right. All right, producers are in my ear saying we got lots of questions. I don't want to stop. I want to turn this into a radio show. I want to ask you about the World Series. I want to ask you about Claude versus ChatGPT. I get so many things, but I can't do that. Tom, this one is from Don V in the chat. Thank you for using the Q&A, Don V. Tom, I get the reference, but can you please provide an example of taste for your shop? So this is the $1 million question, which is, how do you define taste, Mr. T?
I think taste is when you build something, whether it's a piece of marketing creative or a dish at a restaurant or a bottle of wine you can get in Napa, that people who know, who like are passionate about the thing, look at the thing that you built and said, yeah, this thing is special. So for me, whom I market to engineers, it's really hard to stand out. If my marketing to engineers is respected by engineers, stands out to them, represents their challenges, that to me equates to taste. The same way if I'm a winemaker and I build a bottle of wine and I get a 96 rating on Wine Spectator, probably means I have good taste in winemaking. I think it's the audience has to define taste, and I think you kind of know it when you see it, when you get feedback. Yeah, and as Eric Williamson said, shout out to Williamson. Yeah, not trying to appeal to everyone. Like I don't care who sees it. Like I want people that I want to like my creative like it.
I didn't know that was a guy in the chat. I'm like, who the hell is Eric Williams? I'm like, shout out
former colleague.
I'm just kidding. I had the Q&A tab up. He's like, yeah, shout out to Eric Williams. I'm like, should I know that guy? He's the CEO of Google.
You should know him.
No, I guess I should. Shout out to Eric Williamson. Dave, this one says, I don't know if this is serious, but Dave, we try to avoid calling our LinkedIn live sessions webinars, but it's a hard habit to break. How would you position the name difference to help understand to the team why it matters? It's really just a bit. It's just a joke from me because I actually love webinars, and I'll tell you why I love webinars. I was thinking about this. I'm trying to get a hat that says I love webinars because I think this format is amazing. I got a message from my team, like, Tom was like, someone like, they're like, wow, Tom's taking this real seriously. He's blowing up the chat. I'm like, that's what makes this super fun. Like, it's different than a podcast. And I think the issue, just like any other channel in marketing with a webinar, is if it's not interesting and if it's not relevant, then it's not going to be useful. This format, call it a webinar, call it what everyone, this format has existed for a long time. As a kid, I grew up listening to sports radio, and I love that. I would listen to it all day. That's what this is, but we're just talking about marketing. And so what can that be for your world? So I think the problem is people hear the name webinar and they associate it with like some super boring pseudo sales pitch, some company walking you through their software. Like a webinar is why are podcasts super popular, YouTube super popular, radio, talk shows super popular? Those are all basically webinars. It's just the name. And so you have to think about what's actually going to be interesting there for your business. And why would someone put the Aditya thing in your head is like, why would someone take an hour out of the day to come and hang out with us? That's something that we try to think about. This one's from Maria. Any of you have any insights on measuring content attribution today? Not a fan, but that's how I prove my content's worth to my leaders. So you're doing a lot of, brand stuff, taste stuff, creating content, doing content marketing. Anybody have an answer to measuring content?
We've had to answer this question because our content budgets were great, and then AI showed up and they're like, cut it, you don't need all this, you can do this.
just do AI, just use AI for it.
Yeah, I can tell you our budget, we had an agency, everything, we're like 25 grand a month. I'll call it out. It's an agency I've had for 10 years. They're amazing. I've used them at Amplitude, etc. Love them. And so they're like, you got to cut this. Like, we can use AI for most of this. And I was like, okay, cool. How about this? Let's run a test. I'll cut it for a few months and then let's see what happens. And the way we started looking at the measurement actually was, the number of times our brand would show up in certain search results, how our search traffic rankings were progressing to the content AI generated versus what the agency generated. And that's where it started showing what the agency generated was still ranking, whereas the AI was not ranking. And after 3 months, I was like, here you go. You told me to cut it. I did it. This is what happened. It's one of those things that has been put to bed and never brought up again. And justified it by not just saying, oh, here, I'd help the funnel, et cetera. I'm like, in this new day and age, rankings matter more than the traffic because 60% of searches don't end up in a click. So I'm like, the rankings matter more because that's what the referenceability for the AI comes from also, as well as the ChatGPT, et cetera, showing up in results too. But that's how we've done it. And that has been put to bed completely now as a result. And we don't have to validate content as much as we've had to in the past as a result.
When you mentioned it before too about distribution, what does it look like in many different forms, and what is the engagement with it across all of those forms? What's working best and what's driving what kind of engagement? I think that's really important as well, so that you can get a full look at what that content actually did for the company. And then something that we've been leaning in on is taking those interviews from real people, repurposing them and giving them share kits to make that content go even farther.
All right. While we wrap, give us, we measure everything. I'm a if you know me, Tom, I'm a creative analytical ninja. I measure everything. So we always want to get feedback on these, scale of 1 to 5. Rate this fist to 5. You ever been in a meeting where you have to do that? You have to say how the meeting was in front of other people.
The words.
Big middle finger.
You're getting an NPS score right now, Dave? Is that what's happening?
You're getting live NPS, like, and then we'll have the per speaker breakdown later. No, I'm just kidding. This was great, super fun. Dan's messaging me the whole time. He's like, he's like, I need you to do this live 3 days a week. Like, I'm like, fine, I'll do that, but I'm not doing anything else. And I'm going to wear a tux. Anyway, this was great. Just a virtual round of applause for you three. Super fun. This was everything that I hoped it would be. Hang out, have a chat, talk about what we're all doing. Look, we'll send out all the follow-up. We have the recording for everybody. The chat was amazing. Shout out to you, chat. Like, way to go. Way to not just be here. Like, you were in the chat, like hanging out, having a good time. And I really appreciate that. We will be back here next month. We got more good stuff to do. Check us out, exit5.com. If you're not a member, check us out, send us a message, and then send each one of our, if our speakers spoke to you today, go find them on LinkedIn, hit the follow button there, connect with them. A bunch of them are hiring. A bunch of them are good people to know in the world of marketing. And I wish you nothing but a great rest of the afternoon wherever you are. I'm a big positive affirmation guy. I think if you believe it, it can happen. So have a great rest of the afternoon. You three, I appreciate it. Virtual fist bumps. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Go to exit5.com. And thank you to Walnut for sponsoring this session. We love you. We'll see y'all later. Adios.